from Royal Communications Incorporated. Good afternoon and welcome to King's News Broom. 45 minutes news about Liberia, Africa. In our one word today is Tuesday, February 4, 2025, and I'm Shaman Dia presenting. In the headlines, Chief Justice Yanen Yo calls for urgent reform of Liberia's civil and criminal procedure laws, says it will modernize and keep pace with the demands of an evolving society. Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency arrests 37 years old Kenyan national at the Rabat International Airport for sampling 8.642 kilograms heroin into the country. 33-year-old man found dead in his bedroom in Effiu community after reports of going missing for days as Liberia National Police announces investigation into circumstances surrounding the death. And away from home, 5 men have been sentenced to death by hanging in Nigeria's Kano State for the 2023 murder of a woman accused of witchcraft. Uganda has launched a trial of a vaccine against the Sudan strain of the Ebola virus following an outbreak in a country that has killed one person and infected 2 others. These plus the news bulletin, voices of those making the news, our foreign developments, our package, but we'll take a break to be right back. Welcome back. At this juncture, we join Sam Andrews with the news bulletin.
Chief Justice Sanan Yo has called for an urgent legal reform in Liberia, which will positively affect the country's civil and criminal procedure laws. According to her, the reform will modernize and keep pace with demands of an evolving society, adding that without these crucial updates, the legal system will face unnecessary delays and inefficiencies that undermine justice. She made the remarks during the induction ceremony of the Liberia National Bar Association new officials over the weekend. Justice Yo also called on the Liberia National Bar Association to embrace reform, innovation, and modernization within the legal profession. She's at the same time highlighted the emerging legal challenges the country faces and urged the leadership to leave a legacy of positive impact on the legal system. Chief Justice Yanen Yo opened her remarks by reflecting on recent transitions within Liberia's government, including the judicial branch following the general and presidential elections. She pointed out that the judicial sector too has undergone leadership changes from the highest ranks to lower benches. She, however, emphasized that despite the leadership shift, the core principle of law must remain unwavering. Chief Justice Yo called on the leadership of the Liberia National Bar Association to prioritize legal education, particularly in emerging fields of law, to ensure that Liberian lawyers are well equipped to navigate modern challenges. The Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency has arrested 37-year-old Kenyan national with illicit substances worth over 388 United States dollars. The alleged 37-year-old drug dealer was apprehended by LDEA officers on February 1 at the Rabat International Airport. Making the disclosure Monday, the director of LDEA, Anthony Sua, said the culprit has eluded having a deal with a Nigerian national only identified as Alex. The Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency boss noted that the culprit is expected to be turned over to court for prosecution. A 32-year-old man identified as Jesse Gliba was early Monday morning discovered dead in his bedroom at his Elfie Shotcall residence 4 days after he went missing. According to family sources, the late Jesse Gliba is said to be a staunch supporter of the opposition Alternative National Congress and member of the party's Youth Congress. Family sources have narrated that prior to the discovery of his body, they made numerous efforts in knowing his whereabouts, but later noticed that he locked himself up in his bedroom. The Liberia National Police said it has launched an investigation into the circumstances that led to his death. Allegations of rampant corruption have entangled the chief executive officer of Liberia's state-owned oil company, Nocal. Nocal chief executive officer representative, that's Roslyn Swakoko Dennis, is accused of dubiously diverting the institution's official vehicle into her name for personal errands and used for her sanitation company named Tanti. According to Martin Colley, who is calling on President Joseph Yuma Boakai to suspend and turn over the Nukal boss for investigation. In November last year, US 75,000 was dispersed from Nukal SIB bank account to buy a single vehicle for Madam Swakoko Dennis. He asserted that records of at Nukal have shown that only one car bought for US 75,000, adding that investigation has proven that the MG 2024 Rex 8 7-seated SUV is not sold for 75,000 United States dollar, but sold for 46,000 at a duty paid price with a discount of US 43 to 45,000 at Katos Motors of Liberia. Mr. Coley also indicated that due to Qatar's non-compliance to give a kickback of US 30,000, the Nukal CEO took another vehicle and registered it as her private vehicle under her private sanitation company called Tanti Group of Companies. Several local and international organizations implementing USAID-sponsored projects in Liberia faced with unexpected closure of its projects activities due to the shutdown of USAID. According to international news, including CNN, US President Donald Trump has confirmed he wants the headquarters of USAID shut down. The United States Aid for International Development annually dispenses billions in humanitarian aid and development funding to several countries, including Liberia. President Trump, who has put about 6 USAID senior staff on leave last week on accusation of attempting to thwart his executive order to freeze aid for 90, said the agency is being run by a bunch of radical lunatics and we're getting them out to make a decision on its future. Several institutions in Liberia, including the Press Union of Liberia, Liberia National Bar Association, the Female Journalists Association of Liberia, among others, have immensely benefited from United States Aid Agency for International Development sponsored projects. The shutdown of the agency has not only affected organizations in Liberia, but several African countries. The shutdown will be a serious setback for the rest of the world. Dozens of Americans, including senior staff of the agency, have begun calling on President Donald Trump to rethink the decision. Public Works Minister Roland Giddings has committed the government of Liberia to strengthening the Federation of Road Transport Union to address long-lasting issues of road maintenance that the country has faced over the years. The Federation of Road Transport Union of Liberia is a newly launched organization with focus on road and transport facilitation programs. Addressing the group at Omega Community Monday, Minister Giddings said the need for a strengthened public-private partnership is crucial towards Liberia's road and transport programs. According to him, the road sector transport system contributes to good governance by enhancing economic growth and job creation, promoting social inclusion and private welfare, among others. The Public Works Minister also reaffirmed President Boakai's commitment towards the establishment of the maintenance hubs across the country, adding that the move is worthwhile. Monserrato County District 11 former representative aspirant Dr. Thomas Nemnetwe has given Representative Richard Coons 60-day ultimatum to resolve the impasse at the House of Representatives or RICS District 11 citizens petition seeking his removal as a lawmaker. Dr. Toye Eliad's original countryman was denied by the National Elections Commission from contesting the 2023 general and presidential elections over a domicile issue. The former district representative aspirant has described the majority bloc speaker as a greedy politician whose greed has undermined the rule of law and Liberia's governance system. According to Toye, the alleged unconstitutional removal of Councillor Fonati Kova by a group of renegade lawmakers supported by the executive validates claims that the ruling party-led government has disregarded the Constitution for political gains. He emphasized the importance of respecting the rule of law and protecting the Liberian governance system and further threatening to rally citizens of the district to petition for Coons' removal if the impasse is not resolved within the stipulated time frame. He made the assertions over the weekend during a ceremony marking the one-year anniversary celebration of the original countrymen movement in Cornwall. The National Union of Organizations of the Disabled has expressed disappointment on the alleged failure of President Joseph Boakai to make mention of the disabled community during the delivery of his second State of the Nation address. The union's president, Peter Flomo, said nothing was said about the well-being and economic empowerment for persons with disabilities, despite the marginalized citizens being captured in the national development agenda launched by the government. Addressing a press conference in Monrovia during the weekend, Flomo claimed that the union has been advocating for inclusion in the national budget in order to address the many challenges facing people with disabilities. Mr. Flomo also expressed concern over the prevailing situation in the government in the wake of the crisis at the national legislature, adding that the absence of the Supreme Court bench at the delivering of the State of the Nation addressed by the president is also an issue of concern. The National Union of Organizations of the Disabled is therefore recommending that persons with disabilities and their institutions be accorded adequate standard of living, giving social protection. Flomo proposed that people with disabilities be appointed in government as disability advisors and sign language interpreters. The union is also suggesting the appointment of a director along with the heads from the deaf, physically challenged, and visually impaired at the Department of Special and Inclusive Education at the Ministry of Education. The former Secretary General of the Mano River Union has made an appeal to concession companies to assist the Liberia ecotourism exploration in order to make youth, including students, have an appreciation of the rich historical, cultural, and touristic cities in the country. Ambassador Madina Nwisa acknowledged that Liberia has historical and touristic sites that will make students and young people appreciate the rich historical and cultural values in their country. She made the appeal at the formal launching of Matter M. Wright Heritage Tours for schools organized by Liberia Ecotourism Exploration in the township of New Georgia of Monrovia during the weekend. The Mano River Union former Secretary General also encouraged the National Commission on Higher Education and the Ministry of Education to make some adjustments in the curriculum of schools and higher institutions of learning in order for students to learn about their rich historical, cultural, and touristic places in Liberia. In remarks, the Chief Executive Officer of Liberia Ecotourism Exploration, George Wisner, disclosed that Matter M. Wright Heritage Tours for School is a flagship program for his organization aimed at exposing students to the rich historical, cultural, and touristic scenes in the country. According to Mr. Wisner, the Liberia Ecotourism Exploration focuses on cultural tourism as part of the program. They have developed programs targeting the schools in Liberia. He pointed out the Matter M. Wright Heritage Tours for Schools is to expose students to Liberia's rich cultural diversity and history in order to admire the country's rich natural environment. And the National Public Health Institute of Liberia has announced and completed of an investigation into suspected mpox cases among inmates in Sino County. In the press statement issued over the weekend, the National Public Health Institute of Liberia confirmed that all individuals tested are found negative of the mpox virus, adding that a molecular testing was conducted. The National Public Health Institute Director, Dr. Chris Young, in a statement, disclosed that additional gene sequencing will be conducted at the National Reference Laboratory to identify any other potential pathogens or infectious agents. The release also indicated that based on evaluation and investigation using molecular testing, it has been confirmed that the inmates do not have mpox as was reported. Dr. Christian also revealed that the National Public Health Institute of Liberia is investigating similar reports of mpox-like symptoms among inmates in St. Jane, Broom County. The affected inmates are said to be isolated and referred to further clinical evaluation amid Liberia's ongoing public health response to the global mpox outbreak declared by Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The National Public Health Institute of Liberia is implementing precautionary measures to prevent any potential community transmission.
Sam, and just with the news bulletin, the news bulletin is a regular feature on King's Newsroom. A reminder you're listening to King's Newsroom 45 minutes news about Liberia, Africa in our one word. Stories to follow in this afternoon. Chief Justice Yanayo calls for urgent reform of Liberia's civil and criminal procedure laws, says it will modernize and keep pace with the demands of an evolving society. Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency arrests 37 years old Kenyan national at Roberts International Airport for smuggling 8.642 kilograms heroin into the country. 33-year-old man found dead in his bedroom in Airfield community after reports of going missing for days as Liberia National Police announces investigation into circumstances surrounding the death. And away from home, 5 men have been sentenced to death by hanging in Nigeria's Kano State for the 2023 murder of a woman they accuse of witchcraft. Uganda has launched a trial of a vaccine against the Sudan strain of the Ebola virus following an outbreak. Others will take a break to be back with voices of the newsmakers. Welcome back and thanks for being there. The Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency has arrested 37 years old Kenyan national with illicit substances worth over $388,890. The alleged 37 years old drug dealer was apprehended by LDA officers on February 1, 2025 at the Roberts International Airport. Making a disclosure on Monday, the Director General of LDEA, Anthony Swa, said the culprit has alluded having a deal with the Nigerian national, only identified as Alex.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the press. Today, we have invited you to just inform you of new development at the DEA. This was today at the National Airport. On the 1st of this month, at the hour of 3 o'clock at the International Airport, the Kenyan national sitting here by the name of Lena Lee Orondo, female, 37 years of age, the passport number DK for the 14321 was intercepted at the Broom International Airport by the drug trafficking. And during that interception, we seized 8.642 kilograms, 8,643 grams. And each gram of heroin right now on the international market is $45. So if you turn that this figure 8.43 grams, you will get $388,890. My already arrived on Ethiopia Airlines flight ETA 933 of Thailand to Addis Ababa to Brown International Airport. During the preliminary investigation at the airport, Mana Arunda admitted that a Nigerian who lived in Thailand by the name Alex, actually to deliver this luggage, this was something in time. So one Abel Soma Linear, he's right there, in Monroe. He is the company. The substance was discovered in the frame. While checking, our people checking, this thing has gone through most of the normal procedure already. While checking, we discovered that.
LDEA Director General Anthony Swan. Chief Justice Yanen Yo has called for an urgent legal reform in Liberia which will positively affect the country's civil and criminal procedure laws. According to her, the reform will modernize and keep pace with the demands of an evolving society, adding that without these crucial updates, the legal system could face unnecessary delays and inefficiencies that undermine justice. She made the remarks during the induction ceremony of the Liberian National Bar Association new officials over the weekend.
So the incoming leadership of the bar, I pose to you the following rhetorical questions, which I hope will resonate with you as you take on the leadership of the bar for the next 3 years now that you have been elected to the position of leadership within the Liberian National Bar Association. One, how much are you going to show or give back to the legal community and your country? Two, what will be the symbol or legacy of your leadership? Your leadership will be nothing unless you actualize it by some positive conduct and activities. But in recent times, I have observed that there are several emerging legal issues in our jurisdiction, and they include, but not limited to, tenure of public officials appearing in their respective employment contracts, digitization of the court system, revision of some of our laws to reflect current realities. Example, certain provisions of our civil and criminal procedure laws which engender prolonged litigation or are just plainly archaic. In the same vein, what new dimensions are members of the bar bringing to the practice? I ask this question because it seems that the practice of law in this jurisdiction is, quote, stuck in time. Even though the current dispensation globally is lawyers venturing into new fields of the law. Example, intellectual property law, environmental law, especially given the increasing wave of natural disasters due to global warming and excessive pollution of our environment, energy law, cyber security law, and the list goes on. I therefore implore you, the new corps of officers of the LNBA, to ensure that the change that has brought you to leadership will translate to LNBA that is progressive in terms of the attainment of the highest degree of education.
Mayor Chief Justice Yo also called on the leadership of the LNBA to prioritize legal education, particularly in emerging fields of law, to ensure that Liberian lawyers are well equipped to navigate modern challenges.
Approximately 1 year ago, our nation underwent similar changes in two of the three branches of government following the general and presidential elections. Not very long ago, we in the judiciary branch of government also experienced a transition administrative leadership from the caucus bench to the youth bench. At the opening ceremony of the Supreme Court for the October 3rd, AD 2022, which also happened to have been my first sitting as Chief Justice, suffice it to say the third female Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of Liberia, I emphasized the expectations that are attendant to change in leadership. There are diverse expectations from all sectors of our society, including the international community and even the judiciary. This means that all are interested in knowing the plans of the third female Chief Justice. I'm positive that even as I'm speaking at this very moment, some lawyers are hoping to be appointed as relieving judges. Current judges are watching to see if the bench will increase their salaries and benefits. Employees of the judiciary are also hoping for a raise in their salaries or to be reassigned to lucrative administrative posts, while the fourth estate is waiting to report bombshell. Believe me when I say that I understand these expectations all too well. What is worth noting with respect to the change or transition in leadership that I emphasized then is that the change we envision must be based on the law. Most of you are familiar with my saying that law is not reasoning. The law is the law, period.
Chief Justice Shannon Yo. A reminder you're listening to King's News Broom, 45 minutes news about Liberia, Africa, and our one world. Stories will follow in this afternoon. Chief Justice Shannon Yo calls for urgent reform of Liberia civil and criminal procedure laws, says it will modernize and keep pace with the demands of an evolving society. Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency arrested the 7-year-old Kian National at the Roberts International Airport for smuggling 8.642 kilograms heroin into the country. 33-year-old man found dead in his bedroom in FU community after reports of growing missing for days, as the Liberia National Police announces investigation into circumstances surrounding the death. And away from home, 5 men have been sentenced to death by hanging in Nigeria's Kano State for the 2023 murder of a woman they accuse of witchcraft. Uganda has launched a trial of a vaccine against the Sudan strain of the Ebola virus following an outbreak in a country that has killed one person and infected 2 others. Take a break to continue with more voices. Welcome back and thanks for being there. Public Works Minister Roland Giddens has committed the government of Liberia to strengthening the Federation of Road Transport Union to address the long-standing or lasting issues of road maintenance that the country has faced over the years. The Federation of Road Transport Union of Liberia is a newly launched organization with focus on road and transport facilitation programs. Addressing the group at the Omega Market Monday, Minister Giddens said the need for a strengthened public-private partnership is crucial towards Liberia's road and transport facilitation programs.
Kindly permit me to briefly speak to you like you selected on the topic, the importance of the road transport sector in enhancing good governance. However, before going in depth into this topic, it's important for us to note that the transport sector, especially the road transport sector, is a key backbone for national growth and development. The road transport sector is more than just a road that vehicles and other earth-moving equipment use, but it is important to moving goods and services across the country to support the delivery of basic social services across Liberia as a nation. It is also the lifeline of economic growth, and I will tell you how. Social development and also political stability and maintaining national security. No country can function effectively without a well-structured and efficient road transport system. Good governance relies on a robust road transport network to connect people, facilitate trade, improve public services delivery, and promote national unity. There are many effective ways in which the road transport sector contributes to good governance. Transport sector reduces the costs of goods and services and make life easier for businesses and citizens alike. And this is why when President Baka took over last year, he launched what you call the 100 Days Intervention to ensure that the roads become pliable from Monrovia to Cape Mount, from Monrovia to Vonchema, Minikoma, from Monrovia to Nimma, Dredju, Maryland County, where I grew up, and also from Monrovia to Buchanan to Greenville City. It was not perfect, but it helped. And today, the prices of commodity across the country has reduced drastically. I'm sure you, the driver sitting here, can attest to that. Without proper governance, the sector can be plagued by poor infrastructure, lack of regulation, and inefficiency that restrict national growth and development.
Public Works Minister Roland Giddens. Monserrado County District 11 former representative aspirant Dr. Thomas Nimlentoy has given Representative Richard Cohn a 60-day ultimatum to resolve the impasse at the House of Representatives or reach District 11 citizens' petition seeking his removal as a lawmaker. Dr. Thomas Nimlentoy, Allied's original countryman, was denied by the National Elections Commission from contesting the 2023 general elections over a domicile issue. The former District 11 representative aspirant has described the majority bloc speaker as a greedy politician whose greed has undermined the rule of law and the country's governance system.
I'm speaking to the news agency on tomorrow at the highlight homes. I am the original country. I'm giving Richard to 60 days. If they don't put our house in order, I'm calling on every member of District 11. We will sign a petition to remove Richard Cook. Richard Cook and everyone sat down and they don't pick the cook. I will look for that petition in District 11. And we will petition Richard Cook to be removed. Because he cannot be so greedy, not so greedy. We don't care who is on the speaker. But we're going to stand for the rule of God. We're going to stand for the fight. If the blasphemy of God 1 million signature from Monserrado County, I will get the signature because we will prove to them that we the people, we will stand up for what is right. Country is not for one person to have that. Nobody can hijack this country. This country belongs to all of us, and we put them there to do the right thing. If they don't know how to do the right thing, we will remove them from there. Let them stand as a warning, as a guardian to all of them. That if they don't put their house in order, tell them say, countryman is coming.
Dr. Thomas Nimlentoy, Allied's original countryman. The National Union of Organizations of the Disabled has expressed disappointment on the alleged failure of President Joseph Boakai to make mention of the disabled community during the delivery of his second State of the Nation address. The union's president, Peter Flomo, said nothing was said about the well-being and economic empowerment for persons with disabilities, despite the marginalized citizens being captured in the National Development Agenda launched by the government. Addressing a press conference, Flomo claimed that the union has been advocating for inclusion in the national budget in order to address the many challenges facing people with disabilities.
The National Union of Organizations for the Disabled NUOD is concerned about the President's recent State of the Nation address, which was constitutionally delivered on the fourth working Monday of January 2025. It is concerning that the issue of disability were not captured in the SONA. Nothing was said about the well-being and economic empowerment for persons with disabilities, regardless of the fact that Liberia is a signatory to international legislations, including the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. Persons with disabilities are important members of the society, and there is every reason for this marginalized community to be fully captured in national development agenda.
National Union of Organizations of the Disabled President Peter Flomo. The former Secretary General of the Mano River Union has made an appeal to concession companies to assist the Liberia ecotourism exploration in order to make youth, including students, have an appreciation of the rich historical, cultural, and touristic cities in the country. Ambassador Mandina Wise acknowledged that Liberia has historical and touristic sites that will make students and people appreciate the rich historical and cultural values in the country. She made an appeal at the formal launching of the Martha M. Wright Heritage Tour for Schools organized by the Liberia Ecotourism Exploration in the township of Neon, Georgia, outside Monrovia.
I said to the representative of the higher education, please ensure that you find a space for programs like this. And we will follow up with the Ministry of Education to encourage them that civics and history is what will really build the country. We often talk about other countries, and what I do know is that they value the history, the culture, the language, and civics is that thread that brings geography, history all together to say, you are this person, this is the land you're in, and this is where you come from. And if God bless you and you have a government that can show you where you're going, you will know where you land. Liberia has a very, very proud history, and I think we want to encourage us all, schools especially. If you really want to plant that seed of love of country, it's not to look outside, it's to look within. What George Wisner and the group of people who are associated with him, with the schools are doing, you are planting that seed. But the one that's good for all of us, travel and see. We hope that with this tool, as you take note of all that you see, all that you hear, all that you have read, all that Mr. Wisdom and his team trying to put together, you will then pass that.
In remarks, the Chief Executive Officer of the Liberia Ecotourism Exploration, George Wisner, disclosed that the Martha M. Wright Heritage Tour for Schools is a flagship program of his organization aimed at exposing students to the rich historical, cultural, and touristic scenes in the country.
This is a part of the many programs that the Liberia Ecotourism Exploration has planned. Our enterprise focuses mainly on cultural tourism. And as part of that, we have devised programs targeting the schools. So for the schools, we have two programs in store, but this is the first of the two. The Matter Right Heritage Tour is intended to expose students to our rich cultural diversity, our rich history, and also to admire our beautiful natural environment. So we
Away from Liberia, 5 men have been sentenced to death by hanging in Nigeria's Kano State for the 2023 murder of a woman they accused of witchcraft. The convicted men attacked Had Abubakar, 67, as she was walking on her farm, beating and starving her to death. Ms. Abubakar's family went to the authorities and the suspects were swiftly arrested in a village 45 kilometers from Kano, the largest city in northern Nigeria. And Uganda has launched a trial of a vaccine against the Sudan strain of the Ebola virus, following an outbreak in the country that has killed one person and infected two others. The first patient, a 32-year-old male nurse, died last week. On Monday, the initial participant in the trial, who is currently in isolation, received a dose of the vaccine, which was developed by the International AIDS Vaccine Initiative, a global non-profit organization. On that note, that's how we come to a near end of this edition of King's Newsroom. But before we go, a quick reminder of stories we followed in the headlines. Chief Justice Yadanyo calls for urgent reform of Liberia's civil and criminal procedure laws, says it will modernize and keep pace with the demands of an evolving society. Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency arrests 37 years old Kenyan national at the Roberts International Airport for smuggling 8.642 kilograms heroin into the country. 33-year-old man found dead in his bedroom in FU community after reports of going missing for days as Liberia National Police announces investigation into circumstances surrounding the death. And away from home, 5 men have been sentenced to death by hanging in Nigeria's Kano State for the 2023 murder of a woman they accused of witchcraft. Uganda has launched a trial of a vaccine against the Sudan strain of the Ebola virus following an outbreak in the country that has killed one person and infected two others. In thanks to our reporters, correspondents, and all those who helped in making this edition of King's News Bonus Sources. Sam Andrews brought you the news bulletin. Ote Sankan sat at control and handled the technical aspect of this edition. On behalf of the team, I'm Sherman Deal. I presented. Thanks for listening and watching.